So changing the narrative starts individually, starts relationships, starts with us actually laying down some of our misunderstandings of each other. And it's one by one, because changing the hearts and minds of people is a process that takes a long time. And I feel like we've tried to change the hearts and minds of people with policies. That's Martin Luther King accomplished things by changing policies. But to change the hearts and minds of people, it takes relationship. It takes time. And sometimes it's hard, it's dirty, it's not easy. But I believe personally that's the answer. So thank you for letting me speak on this.
My guy, Eddie Barnes. Love that dude.
It was a good answer. Like he said, some people just can't show empathy for other people's situation. So, like he said, some white people, like, they hang around you or they hang around me and they be like, oh, black people are doing fine. What injustice? Especially like you said, we talked about Trent Dilfer. He hangs around millionaire black people. And he's like, I don't see a problem at all. So it's like some people don't have the ability to kind of step outside of their own little bubble that they're in and kind of look around and see what else is going on. Now, as far as changing people's hearts and minds, that's going to be tough. Because everybody don't believe like that.
You're absolutely right.
That's going to be tough. I don't have any answers. I ain't got the answers, Sway.
You ain't got the answers.
I ain't got them, Kanye.
But see, this is where the challenge is going to come in. And I feel like this is, if there's no leaders that's going to step up that's outside of the community, this is where we need our churches the most. Mm-hmm. Because some of these kids just don't have any type of hope.
No.
And we got to reach them while they're young. And if that's getting them closer to... Is this another?
What is this?
What's going on here with all these free promotions, man? I'm about to shut the entire internet down and sneak it in on this podcast.
Not a Ninth Wonder song.
Oh, anyways. We're being all over the place, but I love it because we're live, man. And that's what happens when you're live. But we got to get these kids to focus in on something. Mm. And, to stay on topic and just kind of to piggyback off what Eddie said, it's going to be a lot of one-on-ones with people in the community. Mm. Now, a lot of people will say, of course, God is the answer.
Yeah.
And if you believe in God, that's absolutely the answer.
What if you don't?
But you guys know I always love using personal experience. As a youth, growing up and going through what I had to go through, I didn't think it was no God. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons is because there was no churches in the hood coming up and showing me, who God was, showing me how to pray, showing me how to read the Bible. And I still struggle with that to this day.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to come out and say I'm nothing on the level of an Eddie or Amos.
Definitely not.
Or my brother Renzo.
Yeah.
I couldn't, guys, you could ask me anything about the Bible. I couldn't tell you anything, just to be 100% honest. I have not read the Bible.
I'm in the same boat.
Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say I don't believe in Jesus Christ and God, or I'm no type of atheist or anything like that, so don't think of that of me. But because of my upbringing, I wasn't one who grew up in the church. I wasn't one that was told to believe, in the Most High. Mm-hmm. Then growing up how I grew up, it was, excuse my language, but it was damn near impossible to believe there was even a God that existed. Yeah. And if he did, why am I in the situation of what I'm in? Mm-hmm. Why do I have to walk outside and worry about not getting shot in the head just trying to get to school? Eventually, I did learn how to pray. And I did get a little bit more comfortable. Sometimes fear will bring you closer to God.
Oh yeah.
For a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
But is going into these lower income communities in the hood, do you think bringing them closer to God is the answer?
I mean, I'd hate to say it, but like you said, everybody's not gonna believe in that. I mean, I do. Like you said, I didn't grow up in the church. I wasn't forced to go to church, but I do believe in a higher power and a higher being. You know, I'm no atheist, like you said, but everybody's not gonna believe that, because, like you said, especially when you start going to some of the cities, they're like, why should I believe in that? When I just saw my best friend get shot and killed, he was 12 or whatever, you know.
But you know why it's so hard for some of them to actually accept Christ into their life at this moment?
Just like no hope.
Nobody's actually. You got to get to them when they're young.
Yeah.
Once they're like 18, 19, 20, man, it is hard to change their mind. Some of them you can, especially with youth groups and teen summits and things of that nature. Some of them you can reach. But once they've seen so much and been through so much, it's hard to change that mindset, man. Exactly. It is tough.
And like, I've never had that, mindset. Like you said, if I walk out the door and I died today, then it was just my time, you know. I mean, it was just time for me to go. It's got a better plan for me, something else. It'll do good for someone else's life. But like you said, when you're growing up and you're seeing it, you can't really say, oh, well, it happens, it's my time, it's what happens. They can't really accept that, you know?
Right. And just to, before we get into more of the churches, everybody's not Eddie, Lorenzo, and Amos. I've seen those three, and I see the impact they actually make on live. I see Renzo with his youth group. I see what Amos is doing. I know what Eddie is doing up there in North Carolina. And Eddie, if you're listening, man, keep up the wonderful work. Like, all of us at Foot Locker are extremely proud of you. Extremely. You got away from Earl. That's a blessing itself. I know there has to be a God. If you could get away from Earl, go Paul. That was a blessing.
There you go.
But back to circling around to social media. When you're coming in and you try to grab the youth and say, okay, this is how you can make it out. Let's get closer with God. But you see a Creflo Dollar ask for $65 million from his congregation for a jet.
And that's another, like you said, when you're grabbing the kids, you gotta ask yourself, you gotta have some type of plan. You can't look at them as dollar signs, like, yeah, when he gets on his feet, he's gonna pay his 10% just like the rest of them. You know, you can't look at them as dollar signs, and that's like you said, a lot of people. For churches, for me in particular, I never really did the church thing because, of the Creflo dollars and what's the other guys, the bishop, what's his face? I don't know.
Just watch the show. What is it? Preachers of Hollywood.
Yeah.
T.D. Jakes is supposed to be a real one. It's hard for me to trust. Man.
Rap version of T.D. Jakes. Prophesize, I know you see me.
Oh, one of the best lines ever.
So, for me, I have a big trust issue sometimes with
it's
pastors.
Like, I go to a mega church.
I don't trust you.
But, and I'm with you. I have an man, and Lorenzo, don't take this the wrong way, because you my brother. You, Amos, or Eddie. Because I know you guys. So you guys are completely different. But every other pastor I do not know, and I have extreme trust issues to pastor. Yeah. For example, to stand to the lower poverty income, there will be pastors that come to the hood, man, that we will sell drugs to.
Yeah.
There was a spot set up You know, some people call it a whorehouse.
Yeah.
Where the pimps would have prostitutes in there. The pastor would come up, and I went to his church.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name his church, but I will say it was in Greenville, South Carolina. I go that far, but I'm not going to name the church and name the pastor. You guys, if you know me, maybe you know who I'm talking about. I would go as far as saying it was my grandmother's church. But I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say the name of the church. But as mentioned before, if you know me and you know what church I went to as a child, then you know what I'm talking about. We're going to say a certain part of Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
Just chilling. Had the whorehouse set up. Black car pulls up. He steps out. And I'm thinking,
how you doing, brother?
First thing in my head is, he's about to come. He's about to tell my grandma, like, I'm done. Nah, that wasn't the case at all. It was, hey, what's up, man? Let's go. What you doing over here? Like, what you doing over here? Hey, don't. Here's $30.
$30?
$30. But when you're like 12, 13, that's a lot of money. And I'm like, all right, this will give me for like a month.
Yeah.
His $30, don't say nothing. And he goes to the whorehouse. And I know he's married.
Of course.
I know this as a child. But here's my pastor going into a whorehouse. Now, I ain't never seen him come to the hood and actually try to speak with us.
Yeah.
And let us know that there is life outside of Starting Bridge Road or Gold Station Apartments. But here I am seeing him walk up into a whorehouse. It was Sunday afternoon, so this was right after church.
He counted that collection money, and hey.
Now, I'm just gonna speak a little. As always, feel free to interrupt. Now, the black churches used to be the headquarters for the civil rights movement. They was involved mightily within lower income communities. As previously mentioned, like these days, I see a lot more white churches than black churches in the community. And, people in the community actually go to these churches, but they don't come back to the community to help them. And pastors, they'll tell you, man, like the key to solving the problem today is prayer. But the thing is with some of these young black kids, man, it's one thing to hear it from a pastor, but it's another thing to hear it from the pastor of the church that you go to.
Yeah.
It resonates a little differently when you hear it from somebody the same color as you. Don't take no offense taken, but that's just how it is as a black child. Everything is a lot more serious when you see or hear something from another African American. It's a different type of resonation. Now, they need something they can relate to. And there are some churches today that are active in the community. I know there's a church locally, Change Your Mind Ministries. I know they do a lot. But why are there not more like volunteer work from the black communities, from the black churches and the black communities?
I mean, I couldn't answer. I don't know. I couldn't tell you on that one.
And it's like a lot of people look at it like, especially African American churches, they're not in it to save the youth.
No,
but they're in it for personal gains.
That's what I.
Let's build these jets. How can I build a bigger house? Exactly. Watching that crap that preachers of L.A. This fool like talking about how he used to be a gangster, how he gonna go out and smoke somebody. He cussing people out. Wow. Another one is a producer of a rap group.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Said, it's like,
what is this?
How can I get this BMW? How can I get this 745? How can I get the biggest house in Greenville? Like, it's like you said, it's agendas. Everybody has a different agenda. No one is on the same page. And to be honest, I don't have the answers on how to get on the same page or whatever will. And it's like, I think it's just gonna be what it is because, like you said, everybody has their own personal agenda.